Senator, it's always a pleasure to have you, and it's always a pleasure to see you in Yonkers, because when you're in Yonkers, okay, good stuff is happening. You're motivating people in the right direction. But today we are talking about vote registration,
That's right.
general election, census, 2020. Tell us about the importance of it, and why should people come and do it?
I think we have seen over the past few years, if you didn't think that voting matters, you do now. If you are excited about what's going on or, upset about what's going on is because people voted or didn't vote. So we want everybody to have an opportunity, if they hadn't registered, to register if they're eligible. We also want to make sure that people are counted. Census is going to be finished on September 30th, and if you're not counted, then we won't get the resources that you will need in order to have a better life. So it's just about raising awareness. It's about telling people that, voting doesn't solve anything, but not voting when you can creates a problem because your voice is not heard. We want to hear everybody's voice. We want to be a government that is actually a democracy, and the foundation of the democracy is the right to vote.
Now, Senator, I speak with a lot of people through Yonkers Voice.
Yeah.
I try to motivate them. Listen, you have to vote. The census is important, but they are afraid. They're hearing people knocking at the door, but they're not opening because they are afraid
Yes.
of who they are, who it
Yes.
is across the door.
Yes.
What can we say to make those folks at ease, at peace, that they should open and they should make themselves count?
Okay, well, I think that you should be able to trust who's knocking at your door for the census. There's a lot of ways to do the census. You could go online, even if you don't want to open your door. If you don't have a computer, you could go to the library. You could use a computer there. The thing is that the people knocking on your door are the people who are saying, this is your last chance, please open up. If you are afraid, then go online, get somebody to help you do it, but we need you to be counted.
So bottom line, Senator, it don't matter how you do it.
Do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Ask a friend, librarian,
That's
whoever.
right. That's right. Go online. Just do it. I mean, the census, if you call the census, they have people who will speak to you in every language. You just need to be counted.
Now, what about the mail-in registration, the mail-in vote?
Yes.
How do you feel about that, Senator?
Well, we on the state level, finally, under my leadership, frankly, we did early voting because New York State didn't have early voting. So you couldn't vote early. Now people should know that as of October 24th, they can vote early in several different places all across the county. And mailing in voting, again, in this COVID situation, we've said to people that you can use an absentee ballot because you are afraid to catch COVID, and that'll be fine. But you have to make a plan. We want you to apply for your absentee ballot and then mail it in as soon as possible. Don't sit on it. And there'll be drop boxes around the early voting places, so you don't even have to use a stamp. You can drop it in one of those drop boxes. The point is you must vote if you can, and we just wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to vote. Before, it was only on Tuesday, in November that you could vote, but our lives aren't like that. And that's why we did early voting. That's why now you have voting by absentee. And that's why we are insisting, find a way. And then, of course, you can always vote on election day as well. But the lines may be long, so try to avoid it.
Now, Senator, I'm going to say something, and I'm sure 100% that we both agree with what I'm going to say. I'm sure, Senator.
Okay.
Stop complaining before election. Stop complaining after election. You can change things if you vote.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I am wearing a T-shirt that has all the names of the women in the Senate that are part of my conference. There's never been so many women. There's never been a woman leader. I'm the first leader in the history of the state. And all of that is because of the power of our vote. Everything can change, but we have to use the power that is in our hands, and that is starting with voting.
One last question, Senator. Since I have you here, I have to ask you, because this question has been posed to me. They said next time you see Senator Cousins or Senator Shelley Meyer, ask this. We complained before you became the second most powerful woman in New York State. We complained a lot about the formula of education.
Right.
We complained about certain things. Now we have the two most powerful women in New York State, and certain things remain the same. Why? ma'am?
Well, I think that what you have to realize is that the state of New York gives hundreds of millions of dollars to Yonkers for education, and that has only been going up since Senator Mayer and myself have been in power. That's a fact. However, there's a statewide formula that has been in existence for a long time. And one of the reasons that we have had hearings, and Senator Mayer had hearings, is we're trying to figure out how we can better fund our schools and make sure that schools that really need more get more, but it has to change the formula for the whole state. In the meanwhile, we continue to push hundreds of millions of dollars here. We have passed legislation to allow Yonkers to build schools, to create different avenues for people to learn. And we also have stepped up when Yonkers had a $50 million arithmetic error that we as the state had to backfill. So we are trying to make sure that every kid gets what they need, but you know, the reality is that it is a big picture. Yonkers gets a lot, Yonkers can use more, and we will continue to fight to make sure that all these kids are getting what they need in order to compete in a global society. But I urge any of you, we have hearings on these things. We had hearings up and down the state. Senator Mayer led them. And we were talking about funding. How do we fund it to make it better? And you know what? We were thinking that maybe, you know, making it a big income tax situation so that, you know, you're funded, your schools are funded by, because right now it's basically property tax. That's part of the issue. And if the property tax doesn't fund it, then the state supplements the fund. And Yonkers has been building up quite a lot. And so the poverty rate in Yonkers is not that poor. So the state gives a lot of money, but Yonkers still needs a lot of money. So we're trying to figure out how to supplement it. But in a day of COVID, where incomes fluctuate, you can see so many people are unemployed. If we were depending, for example, on income tax, in a situation like this, we would be very short of money. So we've got to figure out a way, and we need partners on the federal government. And the federal government seems to be disinvesting in public education. We need to, again, elect on a federal level people who believe in education, who believe in public education, who are willing to send funds down to us that we can help educate our kids. And that is really the answer. So I think we go all the way back with all this to say people have to vote. They have to vote because everything in their lives depend on it.
Senator Andrea Cousins, thank you very much. And tell us about the importance of that mask that you're wearing.
I think it says VOTE, it says vote. And the importance of that is I can't tell you enough how grateful I am that people have voted for me and my colleagues. And we do make a difference, and you, more importantly, make a difference when we hear your voice through the vote. Vote.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As you guys can see, a lot of elected officials here talking about the importance of censor, the importance of voting. Stop complaining about register. Make sure you come out and vote. If you don't want to come out on November 23rd, well, guess what? You can mail in your vote. Don't matter how you do it, just do it.
How are you?
Assemblyman Nader, seeing you means equals good stuff is happening.
That's right.
Today is Census 2020, which is something that you and I speak every week or every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
It's important.
very important.
Talking about issues, it's also important, but not as equally important as voting.
That's right. Our democracy functions best when our citizens vote. And today is part of that message and that effort to get our citizens to register and to vote. Voting is the prime core of democracy. When we complain and we talk about what impacts our lives and we're not registered to vote, then it's very hypocritical in my opinion. So to have a voice and to have your voice heard, you got to be able not to vote, and to vote you got to be registered before you can vote. And on the census, I've sponsored legislation to extend the census from September 13th to at least the end of November, allowing inner city and urban neighborhoods to have the highest number of citizens that registered for the census. We will lose congressional seats, we would lose funding, which is crucial for education and healthcare. So anyone who has not yet signed up for the census, it's urgent that you do so. So today is a prime example of citizens and government officials and business people and everyone saying, vote, make your voice heard. It's important for all of us.
Thank you, sir. So, guys, you heard from Assemblyman Nader Sayed. Come on down. We're right here in Gary Square, right in front of Dunkin' Donuts. They helping people with the census, register here. So no excuses. Don't wait for their last day, November 3rd, to say, oh, I got sick, I couldn't make it. Well, now you can do it until November 3rd. You can mail in your vote, do whatever you got to do. Just make sure you come down and vote. Make sure you vote. If you don't vote, you are voting against the person you think should be in power. As you guys can see, we have people that work for the census, helping people out and doing the census. So guys, come on down and do your census 2020. We only have a few more days left. It will expire on the 30th of this month. So you need to do it now. Don't wait for tomorrow, don't wait for next week. Do it now. Now. You need to do it. Corazón.
Come over and play spitting all around here. It don't make sense. It don't make sense.
Love it.
Yes.
Beautiful.
My little voter register.
Yes. That's why we're here to help.
Yay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
What do you got there, Frida?
Proclamations for our event Thursday.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. I didn't know that I know it.
I'll send you mine as soon as I get back to the office.
I have to introduce the council president because today he has a mask. And for some folks, you might not recognize him, even though Mr. Council President, vote is important. Census 2020 is important. Voting registration is important. Complaining about issues is not as equal important as it is to vote that day.
Agreed.
So that's
agreed.
how we change things, by voting.
Agreed. Ben, you mentioned two things. Obviously, voting is every year. And, today's National Voter Registration Day. As you can see, we got the Senate Majority Leader helped plan this, and we got a good crowd out here. And you also mentioned something else about the census, which is every 10 years, but it's just as important. Yonkers right now, I think we're hovering around 60%. We need to do better. And it's ironic where we're lacking in responses is in Southwest Yonkers, the part of the city that needs the most resources that could come from the federal government. Ben, what I do want to say is that it's important that we get out and vote. Everyone has been talking about the recent passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, RBG, and this is more than just an election coming up on in the next 50 days. The next president, we're hoping that the next president, Biden, will appoint a just judge. The next Supreme Court judge will balance. I gotta move this. Will help the balance of power on the Supreme Court judge. So when you go up to the ballots and you see a Trump or Biden, what's really on the ballot is the future of our democracy. What's really on the ballot is our Constitution. So I want to tell everyone who's listening out there, please share it. It's very important that not only we register to vote, that's the first part, but go out there and vote. There's mail-in ballots, affidavit ballot, early voting at the library, there's school. There's no reason why somebody doesn't register and vote.
Council President, in other words, there is no excuse not to vote.
There's absolutely no reason. The state has changed the election laws to make it convenient for everyone to go. It's on weekdays, weekends. It's at libraries. It's scattered throughout the city. No reason. Voting is important, and we see what happens when people don't go out and vote. We get this disaster that we have in the federal government.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ben.
I always tell people, become the change you want to see.
Absolutely correct.
Okay? Don't just talk about changes. Become
Be about
that change.
it. That's right.
Be about it.
Yes, yes.
Many of us complain about things remain the same. Things remain the same on many levels.
Yes.
We don't vote, so
Yes.
things become still the same.
Yes.
And the wrong people sometimes get elected.
Yes.
Okay, so we need to come out. Please motivate the people of Yonkers, the people of anywhere.
Yes.
That if you want to see changes, you need to come out and vote.
Yes, absolutely. First of all, my name is Reverend Whitney, Messiah Baptist Church. My pastor is Pastor Frank Coleman, First Lady Margaret Coleman. Truly honored to be here today. I just came from my doctor's appointment, but when I seen what was going on, I pulled over to get involved, because I believe that voting is so important. Everyone have a right that we need to exercise pertaining to the political process. If we don't, anyone who don't vote, that's just like a no vote. And the reason why we're in the situation that we're in currently is because too many people stayed home. It doesn't make sense. Our kids need you to vote. The elderly need you to vote. The women need you to vote. The senior citizens, everyone needs you to vote, because the betterment of our schools is at stake. Of everything that we need in our democracy is at stake. They're trying to take everything away because of the process, the new process that they're trying to achieve. If we don't get involved, that's just like saying it doesn't matter to me. And it should matter. It should matter to you.
Come on out and vote, guys.
That's
there is
right.
no excuse this time around not to vote.
That's
you
right.
You can vote by mail.
That's right. No excuse.
No excuse.
No excuse.
So don't justify things not changing
No excuse.
later. Come
That's
on
right.
down and become the change you want to see.
Knowledge is power. Actions speak louder than words.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
And everyone knows who this lady is with the Versace mask. The Iron Lady of Yonkers. Iron Lady, Tasha Diaz, Honorable Tasha Diaz. Tasha, this is the area most affected by non-compliance with the census. West Yonkers, 10701, 10703, people in your district. But lots of folks in your district are afraid afraid to open the door when the guys from the census knock at the door because they really don't know who that person is. So they're getting nervous.
Right.
We need to motivate them. We need to let them know that they need to do the census 2020. Social programs depend on it. Elected officials depend on it. There is a lot more at stake
Yes, it is.
than people understand. Please take 2 minutes, 3 minutes to motivate people from Yonkers, Latinos especially, to do the census.
Well, the census has always been important, but it seems as if this year it has been a more bigger importance due to the communities being stricken by COVID. You know, due to what all of the communities are going through right now. You know, we have a shortage on a lot of things. We've always had that shortage. But now if they don't come out and they don't do the census, the shortage will be even bigger. I know it's kind of intimidating to have someone knock on your door that you don't know who this person is. But I tell you this, if you open up your door and you do that census, it'll help us in the future.
But you know, Councilwoman, let me just add something here. If you are afraid to open the door, that's okay. Like the Councilwoman said, she understands it. But guess what? There is other ways to fill the census.
Yes,
you can do it online.
Yes.
You can go to the library yourself. You can ask a trusted friend to help you on their own computer. Don't matter how you do it, just
do it.
That's it.
Exactly. My mother-in-law, I had to do her census because she wasn't familiar with the census. But that's okay. She's from the Ecuadorian community, and that was a way of me showing her these are the tools that we need. So what did she do? She spread it amongst the Ecuadorian community. So now they understand what the importance is to vote. A lot of the Ecuadorian community was stricken by COVID as well.
Thank you, Tasha Diaz. Honorable Tasha Diaz, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me get somebody else.
I'm going to Jamaica, but I'm voting on one side.
With you. I'm
Thank you. She left. No problem.
Anyone knows Councilwoman Chanel? She's right here. She has the mask, trying to be incognito. But nothing passes by me. Nothing.
Hi, Ro. Hello, Yonkers
I'm
boys.
going right here now.
Importance of census, importance of voting, non-importance of talking. And I'm saying that because lots of people go on social media, they talk, they complain, but the most important thing, which is voting, they don't show up to vote.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think this year we're going to surprise ourselves. We're going to see something very different. I think people are getting really motivated. The beginning of the year, you can just see the way things started out. I think people are very motivated to get out to vote this year. We just have to make sure that we push them. We just have to make sure that they're registered so that they can vote, right? We don't want to, people showing up the day before thinking that they can vote and they can't. So we want to make sure that everybody's up to date, that everybody has an opportunity. They know when the voting dates are. Early voting starts October. I want to say October 20. Thank you. October 24th. So we want to make sure that people take advantage of that. It's a very important year. In the census, I mean, every 10 years you get to get counted in your city, in your state. We have to make sure that by the end of this month, we get our numbers up. Right now, we're only at 60% in Yonkers. That is very low. We have to do better. So please, if you have not registered for the census as yet, please make sure that you're counted. Come on down here to Getty Square, right in front of Dunkin' Donuts. Senator Stewart-Cousins is hosting a voter registration drive. You have to come down and make sure that you're registered to vote. If you're a citizen and you've never voted before, you're 18 years old or more, come on down, register to vote, and make sure that you take advantage of that, and make sure you get counted as well.
So guys, if you are afraid of who's knocking at your door, you don't want to open it, we understand, but there is other methods of doing the census. You can do it online, you can do it, you can ask a friend to help, or you can come down right now, Getty Square, and there is lots of people here helping with the census. Now, Shanae, this is my saying today. Don't matter how you do it, just
do it.
That's it. Thank you.
How are you? How are you?
Next city court judge.
Yes.
Next city court judge.
Thank you so much.
Well, you know, Council President, just saying that it's not going to make her be elected. Okay?
We got to vote.
You got to vote.
That's it.
You need to come out and vote. Stop talking. November 3rd, or from now until November 3rd. Vote. Mail in your vote. Don't matter how you do it, just vote.
Just vote. And if you're not registered, go on and register. You can get the forms at the library, or you can register online. You have until October 9th to register. Do that, and then come on out and vote. And you have early voting, October 24th to November 1st at the Will Library and the Riverfront Library. This is the time. Let your voice be heard, and the only way that can happen is by
registering to vote.
So voices are not heard much on social media. We hear your voice.
Unless it's on Yonkers' voice.
When it's right, is right. Okay, what can I say? I like to debate, but I'm not going to debate that one. Okay, if it's on Yonkers' voice, it's good. But it's even better if you cast your vote.
Yes.
Talk, but cast your vote. Whatever way you do it, just do it.
Just vote.
And Ben, it's important. Obviously, everyone's talking about the presidential election, but people need to know that there's local elections going on. You can't say it enough. We got city court judges running. Vera Shako is one of the city court judges. I actually know her before she became a judge. You know why I'm happy she's going to become a judge? Now I don't have to go against her because she's always beat me. So now that she's a judge, I don't got to face her
We've
one way.
practiced together as attorney. I've known him for 15 years. I've also heard, the comments of many of the people I've represented. They want change. They want people who will listen to them. City court judges make decisions that really impact our day-to-day lives involving our family, our livelihood. This is your opportunity to get out, vote, and choose someone who will represent your voice, your perspective. Don't let someone else vote for you. Go on out and vote.
So, Judge-elect Vera Shako, we have something going on this evening, right?
Yes, we do.
Where, what time?
We have a phenomenal women's fundraiser at Dos Marias from 6 to 8 with our first female Senate Majority Leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins. We have Sean Patterson from Mount Vernon. We have all the female council women here in Yonkers, Shanae Williams, Tasha Diaz, Corazon Pineda, Isaac. It will be an awesome event. Let's come out and celebrate.
Now, Judge-elect, not everyone can go to your event. That's reality. But perhaps many of those who cannot go still want to donate to your campaign. How can they do that?
Simply by going to my website, shaco2020.com. I'll appreciate whatever you can do to support my campaign. It'll make a really big difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Change is coming.
Thank you.
We're gonna do a photo right here. Hello. Here we go.
Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. I wanted to message you to let you know that at the new Women's Carrington, they have a sale or something. No, I wanted to let you know because I know that my girlfriend's only like
I'm sorry. And round zero over there. What are they doing? All elected officials? We're looking at jump in here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, thank you for giving it up.
How are you?
I'm doing well, Senator. Senator, today's an important day.
Very.
We are motivating people that actually voting it's much more important than talking. Whatever way place you want to talk, social media, among your friends. Nothing will change unless you cast your vote.
Absolutely right.
Unless
Nothing will change. It's all about voting. This year more than ever. Whoever you vote for this year is the
most important election in my lifetime, in our lifetime. This is the future of our country. We need to vote.
So we need to motivate the senator. We need to motivate the people. That's okay. It's okay to talk about issues.
Yes.
It's okay to exchange ideas. All that is good. But it's much more important for you to vote. And this year around, there is no excuses. We can vote from 24th until November 3rd.
Yes.
So no excuses. I got sick, I was out.
And an absentee. And you can apply for an absentee. Anybody can apply for an absentee this year. Anybody. So you can apply for absentee, you can vote early, and you can vote on election day.
So you heard it from the senator. Please come out and vote, because if you don't vote, you are actually voting for your opponent.
Exactly. And also, if you want to complain, the real complaint is with your vote. That's how you show you're caring about an issue.
Now, Senator, I have to ask you one question. I always also ask Senator Stewart-Cousins this, and I have to take this opportunity. We spoke about the Westchester Yonkers formula in order to get funds for education.
Yes.
We talked about the problem was with the Republican Party that was in power before. Now we have you as a chairman. We have Senator Stewart-Cousins, the second most powerful woman in New York State.
Most powerful.
Most powerful woman. But things still remain the same.
No.
At least, Senator, that's what people think.
But
I know that it's not.
It's not.
Okay, I know that it's not, but sometimes perception becomes a little bit of reality. So tell us a little bit about it. Why is the formula still the same, or has that changed?
Well, what changed is COVID, number one. COVID and the state's financial problems almost allowed a real cut in Yonkers' budget. And because of the leader, Stewart-Cousins, and myself fighting, we took federal money to replace the cut. Then there was going to be another cut in September that we just persuaded the governor to hold off again. So we are in the midst of fighting for as much money as we can at a time when the state doesn't have money. We need the federal government, Mitch McConnell and President Trump, to say they're going to help New York and New York schools, including Yonkers. If we get that money, we will be better, but right now the state doesn't have money. Meanwhile, we are fighting for a change in the way Yonkers is funded. I started that last year, went around the state. Yonkers is not the only place that is really hurt by the funding formula. Rochester is hurt by it. Their schools are tremendous. They've laid off hundreds of people. We have to fight for districts like Yonkers that really are not fairly treated, and we have started, we will continue. Now we have a pandemic, so we've got to deal with the reality we have.
Senator, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Always appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So much.
So guys, come on down. Come on down. Do your census. Register to vote. Everyone is. Give it a minute. Now let me show you this fire truck. Remember the topic that we have about the bus stop? Now just imagine if this bus had to go through here and there was a beeline bus parked all the way down. They would not be able to respond to that emergency right away because traffic is blocking them. As you guys can see, that is cars always parked, double parking. Then the bus parks all the way down. So that road is completely blocked. Now going back to today, guys, come on down. Everyone is making it much easier for you to cast your vote. Come do the census, register to vote. You can start voting on the 24th of this month. So don't matter how you do it, just do it.